Hey guys, yo, what's up? Yeah, first of all, I apologize that this has been taking quite a while. I'm not as fast as many other people out there, but well, as I mentioned in my comment before, is that there is a certain reason for that. And now today we're gonna talk about DR pilots. Okay, I'm not sure why it's so few around here. Oh yeah, I forgot to click everyone. Yeah, so other pilots, other reality pilots seems like having the spotlight lately, especially regarding the SP100. They seem to have a very crazy stats, as you can see around this one in the file that I've shared with you guys. So you can see here, like for example, let's go with the range. When we start by the highest, like 799, this seems like very high if you compare it to the UR. Is like pretty close, like with Demazier and also Saturn Gundam. Sorry. So when you go to melee, we do see a very surprising number with Choo Choo at around 875, and finally for the Awaken, there is the highest one is 793. However, yeah, as I said before, there is a certain reason why I insist on listing all of these parts in my, in my spreadsheet. The reason is the faction tag, the affinity bonus, and also, yes, the damage passive modifier. Alright, so this is what I actually want to compare. Let's see here. We're gonna compare not any pilot without the chance step. So gonna be Choo Choo, Shiko, and Angelo Salper. So in this case, Choo Choo start with X75 without any modifier. Shiko start with 697 with 15% modifier, putting her to 801, and Angelo Sauper with the stat modifier, putting him like another 50%, and then we activate the skill. He end up with 897. From this value, seems like Choo Choo got it very high, and then Shiko seems like the lowest around here. But then things change when other factors are being, considered. First of all, does the unit have affinity available? Here's the thing about Choo Choo. Okay, if we see her, where is she? Here we go. Her affinity is basically coming from from Mercury. As you can see here, like there is not much melee unit, good melee units you can go around with, especially, yeah, aerial rebuild is range. These two is range. I think this one is also range. It's my highest range, yeah, but it's range. And then even the UR is actually range, but we don't want to put UR here in comparison, because if you put another UR here in comparison, the result will be very, very highly different, because again, you will compare the likes of, for example, Gundam Aerial to something coming from the EFSF, like the Striker Gundam, which has a damage value is gonna be very, very far, right? So we gonna just stick with the SSR unit for now. So considering that, so here in my calculation, I do say that Choo Choo do not have her affinity available. Let's just, for this case, I will just use a very hypothetical condition, okay? Unless there is a unit that released that has similar power, like in Blue Destiny. Let's just say it's Blue Destiny. Blue Destiny has a 6/6 power, and the max is like around almost 13,000 attack power. So we use that as a basis here. So here, Shiko has affinity and skill damage modifier. In the end, the damage bonus, the total damage bonus as moral at stage 0. I just assume this is the attack and this value still stays the same. So at moral stage 0, you're gonna put Choo Choo at 30%, Shiko at 40%, and finally, Angelo at 25%. This number you can see here, right? Here is Choo Choo stats 77. This is Shiko stats 79. And this is Angelo stat 75. So the 5% between Angelo and Choo Choo, because Angelo has a higher stats in terms of the range stats, I mean the overall attack stat, It only results in Angelo actually has a 2%, almost 2.5% less damage than Choo Choo, right? Well, in the other thing is Choo Choo actually has a 2.4% less damage than Shiko. And that is because of this. When we see on the stats here, Chuchu and Shiko actually, Chuchu has less than 10% stats different with Shiko, so that can be covered with something like affinity, right? So that's where the whole shenanigans come. Like, this is why, even though SSR doesn't really seem that flashy, but SSR units does have their own advantage, especially in terms of tags and also some abilities. Okay, in this case I even not talk about Shiko's mobility bonus. I don't even consider Shiko's mobility bonus here. Like 10% mobility bonus is insane for a unit, right? So then you might say, well, maybe in the future they're gonna release a character like a very very good in melee. I mean, some units. I don't know. Definitely not Caliban. Caliban seems like a very range focus. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna release a Witch for Mercury, but melee. And that's the case with the fourth calculation down here, which is the hypothetical Choo Choo, and that's gonna put her around 83,000. This, in the end, put her at around only 5% advantage of Shiko Sugai. I do think there's the thing that it kind of tells a lot that these numbers, we got to be more careful and more more wise in comparing this. And this is really the things I just thought last night. I go with the calculation and stuff, and it does feel very, if you say, it's a bit trappy, right? So there is a trap going around here. If you just look at the stats only, you don't consider the ability, you don't consider the affinity, you don't consider the innate passive and the units available to it, right? But here's the thing: if in this case, if you really want to play as someone who wants to be like a very generalist, right? Generalist character, Chujo is the better option than Chico, right? But if you're running a very specific kind of unit, then you might actually need to consider the other units, who might actually have lower stats. For example, here, let's say for range, we just compare for range, right? Range highest with Ansiega with JE Generation Series, and Halpas, EZ8 Mobility, and Aquarius as the best unit, right? However, when we compare that to, let's say, range, let's go with, no, Hero is, okay, let's just say Hero Yui, okay? The thing is about here is like, well, no, Hero Yui has a bad unit. Let's go with Korak. He's pretty low, around his 763. So it's like, yeah, which means like Ansiago is better than Koraki, isn't it? Well, first of all, we have to see on the skill. Ansiago only have accuracy and movement increase, although he has the innate damage increase and affection, right? Here we see Ko Uraki going at first straight up with MP increase and also damage increase, which right off the bat gonna give him a lot of damage, a lot of advantage over the others, right? And then he have this and damage taken and the ESFS tag. When we get to the tag, the units available in the tag, you can see like Kouraki can go with Bialan Custom, Full Banyan, F90, Delta Kai. You can even say GB04 because of the moral thing, right? And here Ansiago only has easy 8 high mobility, even Kouraki can go with that. And Halpas, maybe Halpas is the only attacker around here, and we can say we know that Halpas is far below Bialan Custom because Bialan Custom is the most broken unit, number 2 the most broken unit after the Dark Gundam. So yeah, and that's like, for example, maybe you say, yeah, but we can put him in the full banyan. Sorry, let's go say put him in beyond this, and then this is 799, and Kozaki has at least 763. This is even less than 5%, right? 5% from here is like 800. So 5% difference, and Kozaki still have a 10% bonus. So it's like only at least Kozaki gonna have 5% advantage on top of the damage, gonna be 20% advantage on top of the MP increase right off the first turn. He could have like, I don't know, maybe 30% advantage over it. So yeah, this is why we need to be really careful about this stats. So it's not mean that you shouldn't go with any of this SSR unit. Again, for a generalist pick, they are very good. If you, for example, like maybe you don't want to play with EFSS, you know, some stages, like for example, let's go with back again, of course, with Choo, right? Let's say like, yeah, I need a pilot for my X here, or maybe you see like, you know, there is Oberon. Wait, Oberon is EFSS. No, put something else. Put something else. Okay, Barbatos. Like Barbatos doesn't have a. We haven't talked about SR. Okay, SR got to be another video. So Barbatos is like, for example, like Barbatos has a very high attack and stuff. You feel like, yeah, I want to go with Barbatos. That's where you put Choo above Shiko, right? That's where you put Choo above Shiko. So if you want to be more precise on the unit they bring, it's always better to go with consider the tag. Okay, if you consider the tag, at least you will think that they have like at least 10% higher stats than usual. So for example here, like I said, Shiko 801, so she should be around 801, means like 881, right? She should be around 881 for her, you know, for her output should be equal to someone who doesn't have on the same tag and will be around 881. But if both of them are running something without their attacks, of course something like Choo will be better. And this is the reason why I do think that they did it on purpose. So here's the thing, why do they give this one such a high? I mean, I like the character seriously, in the whole series, she's the only one I like. Okay. So yeah, why does they give her that high damage? Not because of, you know, to make it like, it's basically they just want a balanced unit to be put here. There's no way you got a proper range damage here from Wishbone Mercury. But let's go here with the development, like Wishbone Mercury. Where is it? Down here? Yeah. Personally, I'm not really sure. Maybe they're gonna have Caliban over here, but I'm not sure. Does Guel gonna have something? If there is a melee attacker here, right? There is a great melee attacker coming from the Lanza, the Reblade. Sorry, I'm not really into the Wishbone Mercury. I didn't watch the second season, but if there is something coming around here, that's when Choo gonna be great. Gonna be the most broken, I guess. So we still have spaces around here. We don't know yet. So as of now, let's say that Choo is actually the best melee generalist unit or pilot out there. Okay, that's how you see it. If you want generalists, go for the stars, and Choo is the best melee generalist in the game currently. Generalist, okay? Not counting UR again. Come on, this is, of course, if we talk about SP100, we don't talk about UR. So that's how you consider that how good these units are. Then okay, that's the melee, right? So let's talk about the range. For the range, I don't really recommend anyone much, because range, like, these two are G generation. I'm not really into G generations, so I don't really know what kind of unit gonna appear here. So apologize on that. But in the future, if they release good units, they're gonna be great, right? So generalists, I will say, 799 is acceptable, but personally for me, if I want a generalist, let's go here. I want something around this level, at least 800, right? Does someone have a high awaken here? No, nobody has high awaken, right? So let's go check a bit on the SR, okay? Just to compare. So here, maybe I will go with something like Yon M cuts, What Snap A, Lock Constructors. You want to go range, right? If you want to go with melee, Chuchu is always the best, and second one will be Uno. But personally, I would say that Chuchu is better because of the skill again. And then for the Awaken, do we have any Awaken? Hey, welcome, whoever you are. Anonymous Nyan Cat, right? So, so if we say about Awaken, Razor Blade is the second best damage increase. I will say, if you are going with Awaken Generalist, it's better to go with this, with the G generation characters, like Ivanov or Sis Midfield. But I will say Ivanov is much better. It's huge difference. Ivanov is the best one you can have, especially with the MP increase. That's gonna help a lot. Yeah, for Awaken, Generalist Awaken, the best one is to take Ivanov, okay? For melee Chuchu, for range, I would rather recommend you the, the SR and SSR units for the range. Though if you want still to go with it, Eterna Frail is better, I guess, and Lasse is okay. Ernst Jäger, I don't really like the ability. He only have movement and accuracy. It is not really that important for range attacker unless he's a support. So I would say Lasse non-Basilicock. Good name, buddy. It's gonna be better. Like these two gonna be better. Like and Lasse gonna be great. And Jäger gonna be good. Though I don't really recommend because of the ability here, because one move from Lasse gonna put him much higher position than Ernst Jäger. Okay, so if you want, you can go with Lasse Ion, but personally I wouldn't go. So that's the whole nuance about this whole the SP100 debacle. Okay, be careful. Always look and refer to the damage damage difference of the tag and the innates and their abilities. It's not just down to their abilities, even their tags. Their tags is really important. Their passive is really, really important. Okay, so yep, to wrap it up, if you really want to go with these other units to SP100, my highest consideration is always be Chuchu, a very good generalist pilot in the game for melee, a good melee generalist. And then it's gonna be for the Awaken, Ivanov is the best. I think hands down is the best. Maybe there are some comparison in the SR category, but Ivanov is the highest, Awaken start around the others. Where's Ivan? Yeah, this guy. This guy has the best Awaken start. So yeah, you could consider him as one of the best generalists for Awaken. As for range, I would go with Lasse, but don't go for the range. For range, you will find better comparison in SSR and SR category. For example, Angelo Sauper is hands down really much better than the rest of them. Kouraki is good, right? So yeah, that's my my recommendations. Only Chuchu, and also Lasse and Ivanov, maybe. Hey, Etna Frail, as you want to support Etna, I mean, she's hot, and she also has a, huge amount of attack power, right? Attack power, definitely attack power. And she has the problem is like again the tags, but yeah, pretty okay. But I will say SR, you can wait. Against my advice is always to hold on your medals for now. We don't know how to get more of these medals, so be careful on that. Careful with your medals. If you really want to SP100, go the ones that you like, and at least has a good start. I mean, I share you guys with this one. So try to find your character and see how it looks. So how good it is compared to the the other units. So yeah, yep. So yeah, I've been talking about 20 minutes about this thing. Okay. So for the SR, I won't be discussing it today. Gonna be discussing it tomorrow because there's another thing that about the SR pilot that kind of switch thing up. Okay, while the SSRS has their abilities and their attacks going for them, the R unit have their stats going for them, but SR has something else. So yeah, I mean let me know your thing in the comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and yes, see you again in the videos that we're gonna talk about how good are the SR pilots. Alright, so yeah, that's all for now. Bye bye.